Hi, my name is Erin Donaldson, and I'm writing a novel with a companion discussion booklet for adolescents. My book is called The Guides. It's based on several years of experiences where I've helped people become invisible. I make facial prosthetics for people who get stared at for not looking how we might expect them to. For them, wearing a prosthesis is sort of like an invisibility cloak. Let me look at your nose real quick and make sure it's sticking down. My story, The Guides, is full of symbols and metaphors for what is visible and invisible, because I want to help kids understand that what we can see does not necessarily reveal what is below the surface. It's a story about self-discovery and identity, but it also uses the perspective of guide dogs to talk about people we sometimes perceive as others. By understanding the concept of self and other, kids can learn to overcome societal constructs like stigma and develop the character trait of empathy. They can go on a journey of self-discovery in order to learn. Sometimes you shouldn't trust your eyes. You should trust your heart. I'm going on Kickstarter to raise money to independently publish and distribute my illustrated novel. My main characters are animals. Piper is a miniature horse who wants to be a guide dog. Rusty is a retiring guide dog who wants to help her. And Sadie is in guide dog school but doesn't want to be there. They have their own goals, but their lives intersect and are changed in different ways by the humans they interact with. These human lessons are inspired by real people and stories, some of whom you're seeing here. In my prosthetics career and while making portraits of some of the people I've met, I have witnessed very intimately that nobody wants to be told they need to be fixed before they can be loved. Everyone wants to be loved as they are and wants to feel like they are enough. This is particularly hard when a prosthesis or even surgery isn't enough to get someone to blend in. But having a different outside appearance than other people doesn't mean that someone isn't whole, just the way they are. No one should have to wear a mask for us to accept them. So my story comes from lots of stories that need telling. I know kids who have visible burn injuries and veterans who have invisible post-traumatic stress disorder. But I think their stories can help all of us see ourselves as whole without having to wear a mask. My novel, The Guides, is comprised of stories about looking and seeing, about what's on the surface and then what's below it. Stories about increased visibility and hiding, about pain and perspective. Stories that teach us love isn't something you have to see to believe. So here's why I think the story really matters. I think visibility and difference are important things to talk about with our younger generation. We live in an era where you can create images of yourself and your life on social media that hides your real self. These online identities are masks that some kids feel are necessary in order to be normal and fit in. There's a point where kids start layering mask over mask and don't know how to show anyone who they really are. So normally this is actually a stage of development where kids create social groups to include and exclude each other. But perhaps now more than ever, kids are forming their own identities based on a false sense of self. With this book, I really want to promote self-acceptance, which I believe will cultivate a more accepting society. As a society, we need to grow past our current perspective of what difference is. And for me, this starts with introducing ways for kids to think critically about their beliefs and actions. So here's what I want to do. I want to make a digital, print, and audio book of my first novel, The Guides. And then I also want to make a companion discussion booklet so that teachers can use this as a curriculum tool. This way, beginning, intermediate, and advanced readers can all get something out of it in a way that's really relevant to their lives at their level. It's my dream to see my experiences and the things that I've learned used in classrooms to help kids overcome stigma and then to develop the very important character trait of empathy. I would love to see this used in classrooms. So I hope you'll go on this journey with me, and thank you so much for your support.